Hello, and welcome back to another pen talk. The first pen talk of 2022. Yes, it's a new year. And this is a pen that I didn't expect to get today. And when I got it and looked at it, I go, whoa, something I need to show you. I developed a lot of relationships with my pens and different pen suppliers and sellers and producers. So one of my friends said, we're going to send you a pen. And I go, great. They said if I wanted to test the nib, I said, go right ahead. And the pen arrived. And I really didn't do a lot of study ahead of time. But we need to show you the pen. And Seymour says hi. He says he's looked at the pen, and all four eyes agree it's worthy of a look. It's a standard cardboard sleeve. Interesting that the label is all English. We have a nice little cutout there, which makes it easy to open up the sleeve. They have an interesting saying. I think that's great that they've adopted a saying. And we see the classic frosted plastic case. Very secure. Very nice, both functional and aesthetics. Comes with a little instruction manual which covers all the different filling systems. And here's the vacuum filling system. And the other thing that's nice is they have a very nice description on maintaining your fountain pen. I always appreciate that. And they're a full service provider. Pen is in a plastic sleeve, very securely held in the foam. And as we reveal the pen, we go, whoa. Whoa is something that I do a few times, but this one is definitely worthy of a whoa. The first thing you'll notice is it has a substantial weight to it, feels good, and it just feels good in the hand. Originally, when I saw photos of this, I wasn't turned on by it, but this is one of those pens that you need to see in person. A couple of my pen friends have said they were interested in it. Now they'll get to see it. Nice functional clip. And it's that nice solid piece of metal. I enjoy that design rather than the stamped and folded metal clips. The cap comes off in a little less than 1 1/4 turns, which is nice. You see those block threads. Yeah, very nice. It's a fine nib. The mediums aren't available yet. And as I looked on eBay, the M's aren't available. That is a little slippery section. That curve helps you keep your fingers in the right spot. But I do think over time this might be a little slippery for writing. We'll see. It fits well in the hand, uncapped. The weight is very well balanced. This cap is pretty heavy, as you would guess, with all the metal on it. It posts high. It certainly backweights the pen substantially. So not something that I would do, and it's not extremely secure. I really think this is a great color, the green color. It comes in a variety, green, blue, and clear, and a gray color. Here's what they're like. And you may ask, how does this pen fill? If you look inside, you'll see a rod and you'll see a piston at the back. So it's a vacuum filling pen. You unscrew the cap. Takes a few turns. As you pull this vacuum piston up, it has a nice, good quality feel to it. As we look at the threads here, we'll see it has the flat spots, so that's how you would take it apart. You can see those threads. So this is threaded into the barrel. So you put the nib in ink. You push down in a continuous motion. When it gets down to the bottom, the vacuum formed behind that piston pulls up ink. It also has a shutoff valve. As you screw down the blind cap, that shutoff valve stops ink from going into the section, and that would help out with airplane flights or carrying around and jostling in your bag, or temperature changes, anything like that that might cause that burping problem that some people have. So that's the pen. We're going to explore it in a little bit more detail. There's really nothing else I'm going to take apart, but I will show that that section easily unscrews, and we'll see what we would expect, a nice O-ring. I'll definitely silicone grease the O-ring and those threads because that's what I do. It just, I think, adds to the longevity of the pen, makes certain that seal is very secure, and it makes taking this on and off an easier exercise. The other thing you'll notice is that wall of that, I think it's a turned acrylic because of the clarity and the weight of it. It's very thick. You can see that piston in there that seals up against the top of the section. If we look inside the cap, we'll just see that standard turned acrylic where you have a little ledge there that would seal up against the section, and that hopefully will seal it up nice and stop it from drying out quickly. That's the pen. So this is the ink I decided to use. It's green. And I think it'll work well with the bottle because the bottle I can put the pen in fairly deeply and make certain I have enough ink coverage so when the vacuum pulls up ink, it pulls up just ink and not air. Let's give it a shot. Filling of the vac filler pen. Here's the color card for the Lamy green. It is definitely a clean green. A little blue here, but that's just a transfer from another color card. And Mr. Seasmore likes the color. Let's see if the pen likes the ink. So I think you can hear fairly smooth writer, a little bit of feedback, which is typical of a fine nib on this Fabriano paper, which is a little bit of a softness to it. It doesn't have like a hard coating that you might find on Toma River or Rhodia or the like. So with no pressure, it writes very smooth, very consistent. This Lamy green looks nice. So we just want to give you a quick introduction to the writing. We showed you how to fill it. Now I'm going to compare it to other pens, and then we'll do a wrap-up editorial and a rating session later on. Stay tuned. So the first thing we do is we unscrew the blind cap until we can retract up the piston, pulling up that piston end, the seal. Then we're going to insert it all the way into the bottle. And we need to have a decent amount of ink covering the end of the section, up probably about the middle of the section. Then we're going to go down in one clean movement, and we should see ink come up into the pen. Whoa, that worked pretty good. You saw and heard bubbles. I'm not going to try to fill it anymore. That's a good, well over a mil, maybe 1.25 mils of ink. Enough for me for the writing. One nice thing with a metal section like this, ink doesn't stick to it very much, so it's very easy to clean off any ink that is there. So, in case you haven't guessed, I very much enjoyed doing pen videos and sharing them on YouTube, it certainly makes my life more enjoyable and more interesting. A couple days ago, I met up with one of my pen viewers that reached out to me on email, and he lives relatively nearby. He had a phenomenal pen collection, which I was amazed about, and he also taught me a few things. Here's a pen that he had, which I'm going to throw it up there and ask you if you can recognize what it is. The other thing that's so great about doing what I do and reviewing fountain pens is you get people like Lee who reached out to me and said, you want to try one of our new pens. And when I got the pen, I was amazed, as you probably have guessed from the review. So I asked Lee for some background. So Asvine has been a pen maker for 20-some years. They've been doing OEM pens, and I don't know whether you can recognize some that it may have done that other people branded. But this pen has been in the works for a number of years. The whole pen just has a feeling of quality to it. The skeleton metal design is stamped out of brass. It has 30 steps in making it that eventually ends up in this phenomenal chrome plating. The acrylic, the whole concept from their viewpoint works well, and I have to totally agree. The nib is hand-polished, hand-tuned, tested before it's sent out. And as you saw from the included paperwork with the pen, they back it up. So one of the concerns a lot of people have about purchasing pens from China is there's really no warranty, no guarantee, and you may have trouble if there's any problems with the pen. So this pen you can buy on Amazon. Here's what it looks like. They have a store on Amazon, so please reach out to them. And if you have any issues with the pen, you can talk to them about it. So at the end of the day, the quality of the pen, the guarantee and the support all has a price associated with it. And I think the price of this pen is extremely reasonable. So I didn't rate it in value, but I would give it 2 checks for value. I may go back and revise that, my rating, which you'll see later on. But this pen has created a lot of interest, and I have to say a lot of people recognized this pen long before I did. It took me to put it in my hand and hold it to really appreciate it. So unfortunately, many of us, and probably most of us, don't have an opportunity to actually do that. So hopefully my videos help you decide if you're in the market for a pen or a new pen or another pen, whether that pen is something that would bring a smile to your face, bring some joy, and encourage you to put some marks on paper, possibly share them. This pen is one I will cherish, and a lot of people have already had their eyes on it, and so it will leave my direct possession for someone else who really likes it. So that's a good testament of a pen that really hits the ball out of the ballpark, as I've said a few times, but now I'm going to say it for this pen. Give it a triple wow. So how big is the Asvine pen? Well, it's pretty big. It makes the M800 look small. And just for reference, here's your Lamy All-Star and your Pilot Metropolitan. Let's just pop caps and look at the business end. So these all have different sections and obviously different nibs, but the size of the nib is, I guess, a number 6 in the Asvine. Here we have your M800, your Lamy All-Star, and your Metropolitan. And if we've discussed before, neither of these two pens I enjoy writing with. Shape of the section, weight of the pen, the nib, etc., etc. I know they have a lot of followers, but I'm not one of them. And you can see here the difference between these two sections. This is definitely more girth, but shorter. And this has more of a angle in it, more concave. The nib, I think, matches the pen. How's the comparison so far? So this is an example to try to show the different colors of metals. Definitely a heavy chrome plate on this filigree skeleton design on the Asvine. Here we go, to me, is the epitome of filigree, or have your sterling silver and your gold filled on this Waterman Franken pen I put together. And then we have a titanium pen with a shiny chrome clip, brushed stainless steel, and here we have the field cow with, I call it a pop metal skeleton look, but with a red base, where this has the clear base, and again, reminiscent of a modern pen made in Italy, but for substantially lower cost, and I think they really did a good job at coming up with an aesthetics that looks good. So hopefully with this video you can put this pen in comparison to other pens, decide whether it's a pen that you might like to own. It's a pen that certainly generated a lot of interest among the pen nerds that I know, and a few people have asked me in comments as to whether I would review it, and here it is. Thanks for the sending of this pen to me. I certainly am impressed with it, more than I expected, and from the photos I didn't expect to be very impressed with it. We'll give you the dimensions of the pen. It is a heavy pen, but without the cap on it, it's a very manageable writer, and it feels good and balanced in the hand. So we mentioned the cap takes just a little bit over 1 1/4 turns, which is really nice. That section feels about as good as it can based on how it looks, and you can see how that shiny chrome, which is the same finish that's on the rest of the pen, so it's consistent in that manner. I would have preferred texture here. That's me. Some people find these sections okay to write with, and it does feel okay in the hand, and we'll give you the dimensions of the section so you can put it in perspective to other pens. So I think it's time to rate it, and I'm going to give it a 9.5. It gets one check for it looks fabulous, made very well, feels great in the hand, has that substantial weight that may be equated to quality, and in this case it is. You notice that cap is undone, so the writing and ink flow is consistent. The nib gets a check because it works very, very well, as you can see. No flex or whatever, but I don't expect flex from a nib like this. But it's a consistent writer, everyday writer. Back filler works nice. So it gets one check for the engineering, the design, the build, the execution. Very well done. Kudos to Asvine. I'm trying to get the pronunciation right so there's no obscenities in it. So we're going to zoom in a little bit, as we normally do with this writing. So I would like to thank all of you for watching. You know, let me know if you like this pen. Let me know if you were interested in it. Let me know if this video has helped you decide whether this is a pen you might want to own, write with. Hope this video finds you safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, putting ink on paper. I enjoy it. We reached the end of this video, and we're going to say bye. Welcome to 2022. Stay tuned for more videos.